Hello crafty friends, it's Erica, Scrap Diva 29. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming on with a tutorial. This was highly requested and this is a tutorial for the 3D picture frame. I shared this die the other day. It looks like this. You get the frame, you get the set of ovals, the stitched scalloped ovals, you get 3 snowflakes, and then you get the pieces to create the box. This is from the KLJUYP store, and this is the little project that I made the other day. So we're gonna make one, and the one I'm gonna make today is going to be a Halloween themed one. So we're gonna get started. All right, so what you're gonna need, obviously you're gonna need this die set, and you are going to need a scoreboard. You're gonna need a bone folder, you're gonna need some glue. I'm using my ATG gun. I'm going to be using probably this tool, my favorite spellbinders tool. I'm going to be using washi tape. You're gonna wanna pick out your pattern paper. Today I'm using the Beautiful Nights. This is the one I just picked up from Tuesday morning. And I think that's it. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the first thing that you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna get a piece of heavyweight cardstock in your color choice, depending on what project you're gonna make. Since I'm doing Halloween, I'm using a heavyweight black cardstock. I pick up my heavyweight cardstock at Michael's. It's the 110-pound weight, in case you are wondering. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut your paper down. This comes normally in the size of 8.5 by 11. And you're gonna wanna cut your paper down to 10.5 by 5.5. And what you're gonna do from there is you're gonna put it on your scoreboard and you're gonna score at 5. And I've already scored it. So you're gonna score at 5 and then again at 5.5. And if you're not really good at math, I am gonna highly recommend this We Are Memory Keeper scoreboard, because it has all of the inches on there for you, and the 1/4 inches and the 1/2 inch and the 5/8 of an inch. It's really helpful to do quick math if you're not good at math like me. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out. So after you're done with that, you really don't need the scoreboard anymore. You're going to score, or you're going to fold on your score lines with your bone folder, like so, and then just pull it up and back and make a nice score line. And this is going to be the base of your little picture frame book. It can be a greeting card, whatever you want it to be, okay? So that is the base. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna choose your pattern paper. So I've already chose the pattern paper and I've already cut it down. You're gonna need 2 sheets for the inside, and then you're gonna need 2 for the outside of the cover to decorate, okay? And the measurements of this little sheet is 4 7/8 by 5 7/16 of an inch, okay? So pretty simple. You're just gonna cut that down, select your pattern paper or your solid cardstock, and have that ready to go. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and adhere this down, and we'll just go in the direction of how I would just do it if I was just crafting on my own, okay? So this would be the first steps. And you can pre-prep like I did and go ahead and do all of your die cutting and all of your, paper cutting that you need to do. And then once you have everything, then you want to go ahead and assemble. It makes it go a lot faster, okay? So I'm gluing this side down. Again, I'm using Fabri-Tac. I love Fabri-Tac. And the main reason, like I've said in the previous video, is that it does not warp your paper when you glue it down. That's the main thing. And you can use your fingers or your bone folder. Okay. So we have the inside. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and flip it over and go ahead and glue my, well actually no, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, so let's just do this part right now. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is, I decided I'm gonna add ribbon to this one. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'll go ahead and add my ribbon. I chose this pretty ribbon. I thought it would be pretty. This was from Recollections or Celebrate from Michael's last year. And I'm just going to position this like so. And you're just gonna, you can make it longer or shorter and then always cut off what you don't need for your ribbon. So I'm just gonna snip it, and I'm just going to use this ATG gun, and I'm just going to run it down the center, just like this, okay? And that is really not centered, but that's okay. That is a-okay. It'll look fine, I promise. And I'm just gonna center it as best as I can over the adhesive, and then just push down, okay? You just want enough so that when you close up your book, you can tie it, and we'll cut the excess off, okay? So do not worry about that. And then what you do is you're gonna wanna cover this part, okay? So I have my glue. We're gonna get the Fabri-Tac and glue this side down. And make sure it's centered and press down. And that looks good. Just make sure you've got it centered and smooth it over this ribbon. And we're gonna go ahead and glue this side down as well. And I was gonna add some washi tape right here, but that's okay, I'll still add it, I just won't cover that ribbon part up. I think I would have added I should have added the washi tape first. That way the ribbon would have been over the washi tape, but that's okay. It'll still look cute, I promise. Okay, so we're gonna glue this side down, and then we're gonna get to the die cutting for the actual frame and for the 3D frame, okay? And I will show you all the cuts that you need to cut. And I'm just kind of making sure that's even. And that looks good to me. So we're gonna just turn it back over for right now. And now we're gonna start working on our frame. So you're gonna cut this frame out 3 times. You're gonna need 3 of these cutouts. So here we have, well actually you're gonna need 2. I apologize, you just need 2. You're gonna have 1 for this side and 1 for this side, okay? And then you're actually going to cut it a 3rd time because you're gonna want, well in this case, I wanted a white rectangle to pop out because I want to stick it on this side, because I'm gonna this is gonna be a card. So this is gonna go on this side, and then this pattern paper is going to go on this side right here. Okay, so you're gonna cut it out a total of 3 times, but you want 2 different colored frames, or they could be the same color, whatever you want, however you want to decorate yours. And then you're going to need 2 of the rectangles that fall out, okay? All right, so let's move along. We're going to need 2 die cuts of this die right here. Looks like this. Cut that out 2 times, and as you can see, there's score lines, and we're gonna fold those in just a second. And then you're gonna need 2 die cuts of this die right here, okay? So those are already die cut out, so we're gonna go ahead and score along the edges. So you're basically gonna I just fold it, and you're gonna see where it'll bend, and you just wanna carefully bend it over like so. And then I use my bone folder to give it a good crease. And at this point, what I'm gonna do is I know that I need adhesive on this little strip right here. So I do have my adhesive, and I'm using a 1/16 of an inch adhesive, and this is the one that I picked up from scrapbook.com. And while I have this one folded down, I'm going to add the adhesive like so to this little strip, and just tear it off with my finger. And then I'm gonna go ahead and fold on this score line right here where the adhesive is. And I am using this like heavyweight shiny paper. I picked it up from Hobby Lobby, and that's why I'm using this bone folder to give it a good score. And now we're gonna do the same thing on this side. I'm gonna go ahead and add the adhesive to this side. And I just snip it with my finger, smooth it down, and then I'm going to fold on this score line right here, and then again on that second one where the glue is. And I'm just carefully folding the paper over, and then creasing it, and then using my bone folder to get a good crease. And now I'm going to do the second line. Okay, so I'm carefully folding it down. And I'm going to take my bone folder and give it a good crease. All right, so you're going to have something that looks like this when you're finished, okay? So you got that one, and then you're going to do that a second time for this one. And now I'm going to go ahead and do this one because we have to do this one. And now this one is ready to go. You just kind of have to move it, kind of fold it together, and it will look like this. So now you have these two, and now we need to move on to the other part, this part right here. We're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to add the adhesive on both ends, and then we're going to fold and crease. And I can go ahead and just do it on this side. And I'll go ahead and do this one since I have the tape in my hand. And this side. And just pull that off. Smooth the tape down and go ahead and fold on that first score line. Smooth it down, do the second little score line. If you use a lighter weight cardstock, it'll be a lot easier. But since I chose a heavier weight cardstock, you kind of have to take your time. You don't want to tear your paper. You want to make sure you get a good crease. So that's why I'm taking my time. And I'm going to fold this part down. And there we have this one. And just kind of fold it in like so. And it'll look like that. And now I'm going to do the same thing to this one. And now we have all four ready to go. All right, so now this is the fun part. Now we're gonna go ahead and assemble the little 3D box. And you say, well, how in the world do you do that? Okay, so just flip these over. This might make more sense. And then what I like to do, well, I'll do that in a second. So you're gonna take one piece with the edge that's at a diagonal, and then you're gonna take one that's square, and basically you're just going to slide it in like so. These corners are going to match up like this, and it's going to form the box. And then you're gonna take this side over here and do the same thing. We'll do each one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add in a little bit of adhesive, just a little bit of Fabri-Tac on the inside so that it'll stay. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue on the inside, and you just need a little bit. And then you're gonna take this piece and you're basically just going to slide it in. And it may be helpful just to do it on your scoreboard. And I'm trying to make sure I show you so that my fingers are not in the way. You want to push down. And then, of course, I chose this really shiny paper, so you have to really be careful. You don't want your glue all over your really pretty shiny paper. You're gonna hold that for a second and just make sure that it stays. Now, it might take a minute to dry because I'm using the Fabri-Tac, but I really like to use the Fabri-Tac on these types of projects. Okay, so that's probably good. And now I'm going to go back into this piece right here with the edge that is at a diagonal. And this is going to this part is going to go on top of this part, like so, and it's just the corners, that corner and that corner will line up. And I hope that you guys can see that. And I can zoom in just a tad, make sure that you guys are seeing what I'm showing you. Okay, so these two are gonna line up like so. So I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on the inside of this one. And not a lot, just a little. A little goes a long way, okay? That's all you need is a little. And I'm just gonna slide this one in. I'm sliding it in and I'm holding it down. Okay? And you see how the box is taking shape? I'm just holding it so that it stays in place. You can use an adhesive that dries a little bit faster if you want to, depending on the type of cardstock that you're using. Okay, it's gonna definitely depend on that. Since I'm using this black shiny, I'm trying to be careful because I don't want glue all over the shiny paper. Anyway, this is gonna get covered up, so it's not too big of a deal. And I'm just gonna slide this over. Actually, I'm gonna turn this upside down and add the glue on this side. And I'm gonna go ahead and add it on this side. And I'm going to just turn this back over, and I'm just going to slide it in on this corner. Maybe I just turn it like this. There we go. So that one is going to slide in, and then you can also slide this one in at the same time. You can try to do it. Okay, so this is dry now. So we have our little 3D box ready to go. So we're going to pull back this part right here. And what I'm going to do is I am going to lay this down flat first. And then we will adhere the rest of the decorative pieces. Okay, so what I'm going to do is flip this over. Remember that adhesive that I added to the back? We're just going to take the adhesive off. I'm just going to use my pokey tool so that I can carefully peel back the adhesive. And then we'll stick it down. And we'll do that to all 4 sides very carefully. And you got to be careful, you don't want to pull your adhesive up. That's why it was important to give it a good crease with the bone folder. And we're just making our way around each side. Very simple. Now this side. Come on, there we go. And one more. Okay, so now we have all these off. We'll put that off to the side. And now what we're going to do is we're going to turn it back over. And you're going to have to move this so that you can see that it's centered when you're sticking it down onto your cardstock, since we have the score tape down. So I have to get on top and make sure that it's centered right where I want it. And that looks good. So I'm just gonna, once I make sure that it's good, I'm gonna push down. And you have to kind of squeeze it and then push down. And you may have to lift it up if you don't get it perfect. I'm gonna have to adjust mine just a tad because it's not perfectly centered. This part is a little tricky, but it can be done. And you can also make a, give yourself more room if you want to when you're making this. Okay, I'm gonna hold that, squeeze that down, squeeze that down, and I'm just kind of squeezing it and then pushing down so that the adhesive will adhere. And I think that's pretty good. So you see I'm kind of pinching it in and then pushing it down, okay? And like I said, you can give yourself more room. I just kind of wanted it to be like a tight fit. I just liked this size. Again, you can adjust the measurements, do it, give yourself 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 inch, more space, whatever you decide. Okay, so the next step is going to be to insert your pattern paper. So I'm just going to glue that on the inside. With a little adhesive, and just stick this down on the inside. Make sure that it's, you know, centered. And that looks pretty good. And you want to smooth it down. And then I decided that I wanted to step it up a little notch. So I went ahead and made a sequence mix, and I just chose sequence that I had in my stash. I think this is a good amount. I don't think I need all of it. I just kind of went with what I had. We'll add a few more little spiders. I have a little bit of some pumpkins and some fun little sequins from my stash. And then what I'm gonna do is I have these acetate sheets. These are the Hero Arts acetate sheets. I just grabbed them, I had them in my stash. You can get them off of Amazon. These are 5 by 6, and I just cut it down so that it would cover up my shaker. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use my ATG gun, and I'm just gonna go along the sides, and so I can glue it down. I'm not gonna use any wet glue. it's just easier and it doesn't like create a mess or anything like that. So I'm just using my ATG gun. Make sure you have all sides with adhesive. You don't want your sequence to fall out. And then this side. And just making sure that you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to slide this over. I hope that I'm on frame. Okay, so all these sequences in, I added my adhesive, and I'm just going to carefully stick this down like so. And now that is on. You want to cut it slightly smaller than the 3D box so that the acetate isn't showing on the outside. And then what you're going to do is you're going to cover it up with your decorative frame like that, okay? So I hope that you guys can see what I'm doing. So again, I'm just going to use my ATG gun, and I'm going to add the adhesive to this frame, and I'm going to pop it on. And ATG tape is pretty sticky, so be careful. You don't want to tear your paper. All right, and you see it's like stuck to me. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to adhere the frame down, and I'm just going to look and make sure I center it up, and that looks good. And I'm just going to carefully press down. And now I have my shaker, my 3D shaker frame. Look at that, I love that. Isn't that pretty? Yay, looking cute so far, right? Okay, and so then the next step, what I'm gonna do is, now this is kind of just more like the decorating part. I have this die in my stash. I believe I got it last year. It looks like this. I already die cut it out, and I turned it into a sticker using my scrapbook.com 4-inch adhesive. And all I have to do, and I see there's like a few little pieces I need to take out, but all I have to do is peel back the adhesive, and I'm going to stick this on my little picture frame. So you just carefully take your adhesive off. See how simple that is? Voila, I immediately have my sticker. I see one little piece right here in the nose that I need to take out. And then I can adhere it down. 1 second. Okay. This stuff is extremely sticky, so make sure when you stick it down that you stick it down in the right place the first time, because it's extremely tacky. And I'm just going to center it like so. That looks good. Just like that. And, you know, I could go back in and paper piece the hat, maybe make the hat a different color. I might do that and show you in the next video, but for this purpose, I wanted to show you how to create the 3D frame. The next part that you want to do is just adhere your other side of your little card. I'm making this a card this time. So what I'm going to do is just add my adhesive with my ATG gun. Oh, see, I just broke it. But you know what? That's okay. That's why you have to be really careful with ATG and your pattern paper. That's not heavyweight. You just have to be really careful. But I am not wasting this paper. We're going to make it work, okay? It is okay. We are going to make this work, you guys, okay? So I'm going to carefully center it to my liking, and I'm going to do about right there. Looks good. And I'm just going to carefully line it up. And then I'm just going to stick this on the inside of my card. And I didn't do the best job of lining that up, but that is okay. You know, sometimes we make mistakes. It's all good. whoever I give this to, I'm sure they will love it. They won't even notice, especially like my non-crafty friends that I do blue baskets for. They would never notice. They would not care. So all I do is adhere that, and this side can be my note. I can further embellish this side. I probably will. And maybe I'll come back on and show you the completed project. But that is the tutorial. I hope that that was helpful. I hope that you understood what I was doing. I did have this washi tape down. I just picked this up from Tuesday morning, and I'll zoom out just a tad. I was going to use the orange glitter washi tape, and I was going to, what I like to do is add a little bit of, I don't even know if I'll be able to use that ATG gun, it's too wide. I'll just use a little bit of this 1/8 of an inch score tape down the center. I like to add a little bit of adhesive, extra adhesive, when I'm using washi tape. That way it doesn't, make sure it doesn't come up. And then take the washi tape and put it down the center. So now you've got a pretty spine. Isn't that pretty? And then what you're gonna do is you would go back and you could decorate the front of your little booklet. And I was going to add the washi tape to the front of this booklet as well, but I may do something different because I didn't cover up that, so I may just do washi tape here and washi tape here. I don't know, I haven't decided yet, but this is the gist of the 3D picture frame. I hope that this was helpful. Please check the description box below for product information. Thanks for watching. Leave me a comment, and I'll check you guys out in my next video. Bye for now.